All right, guys, this year's approach is going to be slightly different. Last year I had a lot of losses settling, more losses than I care to talk about. Unfortunately, it's just how it goes. You get a hawk comes in and scares the birds, spooks them, they go airborne, and of course they're afraid of everything. They're afraid of the wires, they're afraid of the trees, they're afraid of the house. I mean, they just keep flying until they lose their way, you know. So this year I'm gonna try something a little bit different. As you can see, I built a large settling cage, large aviary, whatever you like to call it. For me, it's gonna be a settling cage. I made it to the point that they can get on top of the roof, and they can kind of stretch their wings. They can kind of get a feel for what it's like to be away from, you know, what their normal is. I made that as inexpensive as I could. What you see there, minus the chicken wire that I had laying around, is about $35 worth of screws and lumber. Everything else I had laying around, so not a big deal. It took me about, let's say, 3 hours total with stapling everything together. So it wasn't horrible. And again, it's not a fixed structure. It's not something that's going to be permanent. I didn't even bother painting it. I just kind of hung it up there as soon as I could. I plan on darkening this year as I did in 2017. And unfortunately, because of my work schedule, I'm not able to let the birds out throughout the day. And by the time I get home from work, it's damn near time to darken, and I can't risk letting them out, you know, not being able to call them back in, and then obviously they go into a molt, and then I lose my season over that. So the point of this whole idea here, this new project, so to speak, is to allow the birds obviously to be outside all day. I'm going to open the aviary or the trap door. I'm going to allow them to go in and out as they please all day long, as much as they like. I'll call them in for feed when I get home and put them on the dark. Hopefully this gives me a bit of an edge. Hopefully I don't lose as many youngsters. Again, I'd like to race them all. I'd like them all to at least make it through training. And then if they get lost at that point, well, that's on them, not on me. But to lose a youngster just because a hawk came in and it was spooked, and I've had, just as an example, I've had 3 birds hit my neighbor's window last year. 2 were fine, 1 killed himself. My neighbor walked it over on a shovel and apologized, and obviously I told him not to apologize. The bird it saw the reflection of the woods behind there and assumed it can get away and just smoked his window. I'm glad it didn't break the glass or anything like that I have to pay for. But it is what it is. Like I said, we're trying something new this year. I'm hoping it's gonna work. I made it, like, again, as inexpensive as I could. Obviously you can see it's very thin board, 1 or 2x2s, and then I used a little bit of 1x2s for some of the angle pieces. I try to make it as light as possible because I'm by myself, and heaving it up there isn't always the easiest thing, especially when you're on a ladder and everything's kind of kitty-wampus. But either way, easy to get up there. I made it as 8 feet long, 4 feet deep, 4 feet tall. Again, just to allow them to be able to fly up to the rooftop, let them walk around, let them really enjoy that space. I could also slide it over and allow them to go through that main trap, to the first trap door there. When I do let them out, all I have to do is literally slide that whole thing over across the roof, and it's settling on the other side, and then I can still fly the birds. So not a huge deal. If it becomes a positive, if it's a good thing, I may take it down, paint it, or build one that's a little bit nicer, and then go with that for the next couple of years. But like I said, we're just trial and error at this point, see how it works. Obviously the birds are loving it. They can really stretch their wings. I mean, immediately when I opened the trap, I had a few go out there. Pure curiosity. They're young birds. You know how young birds are. And it really looks like they're really enjoying it. One thing I do wish I would have done, but again, because of the weight of the whole thing, is I wish I would have put a door up top. Simply just so I can maybe feed up there, or I can give them a bath up there. That would have been real nice. But again, you know, trying to keep the weight down so I can actually heave it up there myself. It is what it is. As of next year, or if it does do well, if I do well with this idea, I probably will put a trap door, at least a small door up top, so I can slide in a bath pan and allow them to bathe up there. So either way, we'll see how she goes. I just wanted to show you guys as well what I've been working on. This here is my entire first round settled, or weaned, I should say. There are a lot of birds up there. Let's say about half a dozen or so are from a local flyer here for our classic race. So the majority are mine, and then about 6 of those birds are from a local fancier here. But so far so good. Everything is going as planned, guys. So far, no sick birds, no issues. I did have one youngster go light, and I didn't bother with him. No point of risking my entire team for one youngster. It is what it is. The nest mate made it just fine. This youngster just wasn't doing well, so we went ahead and removed that bird. So we'll see. I wish I can get a higher vantage point, because from here obviously it just looks insanely tall, but it really isn't that big. Let me see if I can walk around a little bit. One quick note, I've been watching a lot of YouTube, and a lot of new guys are coming out with videos, a lot of pigeon guys. I'm not going to name you guys specifically, but let me give you a piece of advice, guys. Invest in a tripod. I mean, some of your videos are so hard to follow. You're walking around with it in your hand, and it's just unbelievably annoying. And I want to see the content you guys are putting out. I want to see the birds, but it's unbelievably annoying when you're just walking around with your phone and or a camera in your hand. Find some way to stabilize it. A tripod, like right now I'm using my phone on a tripod and I'm holding the tripod, and you can see it's relatively steady. There's a little bit of motion, but not much. That tripod gives you a little bit of balance. It'll make your video quality that much nicer. I mean, I'm sure you guys, like myself, are trying to produce or put out something that's enjoyable, not something that's going to be hard to watch. So it is what it is. For me, I don't monetize my videos. I don't care if you subscribe or not. If you do, I appreciate it. If you don't, not a big deal. This is not my living. This is just a hobby of mine. But if you guys are really trying to get out there in YouTube, just invest, you know, 15, 20 bucks in a nice tripod, something that'll hold your equipment. It's going to go a long way. It really is. So with that being said, guys, we'll see you on the next one. I don't know what's to come, honestly. Again, I don't want to keep doing the same things over and over. You know, I can't show you how to wean youngsters. I've already showed you guys that before. So we'll take you on the next video. Whatever's going to come my way, I'll take you guys along. See you in the next one, guys.